Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Akash Thing. So we are going to continue our learning on the Python playlist. So we already covered docstring, comments, Python syntax, indentation. Today we are going to learn a new thing which is variables and the naming rules, like how should we name a variable. And it is going to be a milestone because once you know this, or without knowing this, you will not be comfortable in writing the Python codes, because most of the time we try to allocate a variable where we try to assign some value, whether it's a data frame or a string or an integer, and then we try to use that variable going forward. It's not like we are assigning a new thing every time, every place. We generally try to do it at one place and then we try to use it throughout the program. So that's why it's important to understand how should we create the variable, what should be the name that we should give it to it, and what are the some uh, misconceptions, or what are some of the rules that we need to follow while declaring a variable, and how variable works internally. So once you have all this clarity, then you will be able to write a better code as well as optimal code, which is more efficient and which may hardly fail, or at least it should not be prone to error in future, because you know the basics and then you are writing your code, so that way it will be clear to you. So I have tried to compile everything at one place, and here you can see the important things that we will be trying to cover. We will go through the important rules that a variable is having, and especially in Python, and then some of the we will also understand the reserved keywords which we can't use for variable names. And then we will also look at Pythonic naming convention. So kind of Pipet as standard, just we have seen in our last video. So similar way, what is the standard that is followed across industry while we are naming a variable. And then we also will see uh, like we should not fall in a trap that we name a variable with a built-in function. So around that, and then we'll see the different assignment of like variables, and yeah, we'll try to understand the difference and when to use which, and in the end we will going to have a very simple quiz to like see if you are able to learn it or not. So with that, let's start moving to our first topic. So let's try to understand the rules that are there, especially in Python, when we are naming a variable. So let's try to go through that. Let me just clean this. Yeah. So the first rule says that the variable name should always start with a letter alphabet, either a small or capital letter, and it can also start with an underscore. So here you can see that thing. Next, it says like it should not start with a number or any special character. And second is the variable name should only contain the alphanumeric values or the underscore. It should not have any special character or anything like that. So here we have covered in the third point. So in total, if we combine all these 3 points, it's like the variable name should start with something. Let me just take a smaller ball. Yeah. So the variable name should always start with something like this, can be alphanumeric or underscore, and then whatever following that should also be alphanumeric or underscore only. It should not have any uh, special character, and variable starting name should not start with any number. So this is like simple understanding that you can draw from all these 3 points, and that you have to remember. Second, the variable name is very much case sensitive. So if I am writing my variable as Akash and Akash, so these two will be treated differently. They are not same. Okay. Third is like there are some keywords that are specific to Python and they're reserved for its uses. So it's like the grammar of like in the grammar of the Python, it's hard coded that these cannot be used by anyone else. It is like banned from like reassigning it to anyone. So those keywords we can't use anywhere as a variable name. So that is what we are trying to see here. So for example, what are those keywords like if, else, while, class? So these are some of the examples. And we can also see how many such keywords are there. And uh, we will try to avoid that whenever we are going to write a variable. Then coming to the next is like here we can see, yeah, it's the same thing. So let's try to jump into our practice. So since this is the Jupyter notebook, so we can directly practice the code here. Let's try to declare some variable. For example, I have created like a as a variable, and we have used the assignment operator equal to assign a value to it. So this is the value that will be assigned to it. So in the runtime only, runtime means when I will execute this, that time only this a will identify that it has been assigned an integer as a data type. So I will just run this, and then I can check what is the value of a. So this is what meant by variable or variable assignment. So we can again now let's try to practice some of the techniques that we have mentioned above. So let's try to write the name like aksh equal to this 10. So yeah, this will work. See, it's working. I can also try to start this with underscore, and let's try to again run and see this if it's working. So you can see I'm still getting the value. We can try to change the values as well, and we can see it is changing. So this means like it is working, right? Now next is like we can try to start with a number. See, I'm getting the error. Even my VS Code is like saying that it's not a correct syntax. So we have to like remove the number from the beginning. Now this is clear, the first rule. Then it's coming to second rule, which is like uh, it should have only alphanumeric. So let's try to add something like underscore in between, and it will run. So it has run because it can take underscore in between. But let's try to use underscore at both the place. What do you think? Will it work? Yeah, it has also worked. So it is meeting the criteria and hence it's working, right? Next we can try is just try to add some number in the end and see if it's work. So yeah, this is also allowed because it is as per the standard only. But if we try to add some special character, let's say at the rate, and try to run it, you can see I'm getting error. It's not allowed. Even if I try to add a plus, try to hit, again it's not allowed. So all these plus are not allowed. Now let's try to check the case sensitivity. So if I am running a cast equal to 1000 and a cast equal to 1, let's change the value 10. Now if I print capital a small a Akash, I will get 1000. But if I print capital A, I will get 10. So that's what it meant by it is case sensitive. So we have covered everything. Now let's try to go through the keywords. So this is the code that is there. If you want to get the list of all the Python keywords that is there. So we are importing a keyword library or module of Python. And then we are using this KW list of that library, and we are checking the count of all the keywords that are there, and we'll also print it. So let's try to run this. You can see these are the all the list of keywords, around 35 keywords there in Python. And as we have already seen, like diff or delete or else if, in, these are all the keywords that are there. Now, if I try to declare a variable using these keywords, like let's say true equal to 100, it will throw a error. See, now if I change this true to a small t, then it will not throw an error. See, this one. So this is what it meant by that. If we try to use none, So it thrown error. Now if we just use smaller one, it will not throw because that's not the keyword. So similarly, it is applied across all the other keywords as well. So we should not be using the keywords as a uh, variable name. Now there are some naming convention. Let's go through that. Naming convention is like how should we name a person? So if you are in India, in North India, we used to give the name of the people like Ram, Sam, or new names like Mohan or Rahul, something like that. And in South India, they have a different standard. They used to have the uh, like the surname also from their family members, and because of which the name are quite long. So there is a practice that is followed. Again, it's not very like that you have to do it, but it's a best practice and followed across industry. So it's good to follow as well, so that like others can easily understand our code, and it will be like much cleaner look wise also and feel wise also. So the one of the most important thing is the snake case, which we also seen in our Pepet Python style. So you can refer the indentation class for that. And yeah, so here it is meant by that is like our name should be in a small case, and it should be separated using underscore instead of a spaces. So if I just try to use a spaces like a space b space c equal to 10, it will throw error. It doesn't recognize space as a like a standard rule. According to rule, it's not recognized. It's separating all of these into three different variables. Now let's try to run this. It will work. So this is what meant by the snake case. Be descriptive. That means like again ABC doesn't make any sense. So if I write it like uh, CGPA, so that explains this, that this is the CGPA 10. Similarly, I can write like temperature of thermometer equal to, and that too in Fahrenheit. Then I can write 240. So this clearly explains the like what the variable is representing. And then some values are constant, like the boiling point of water, something like that. Boiling point. So for these, we try to use capital or the uppercase or all caps variable name, so that anyone or everyone can understand that okay, this is a constant value that is used throughout the industry or at least specific to that project. And then there is some built-in function also. By built-in function, let's say I have two variables, a equal to 10 and b equal to 12. Now let's try to use sum a comma b and see the output. So maybe in place of sum, let's try to use max. So max of a and b will be 12. So that this is the inbuilt function. I haven't called any module just like we have done for the keywords, right? Still it's working. So this means like that this is inbuilt in the Python, and you can hover over it and you can get the details also, like what this function is doing, what is the input and output coming out of that. Now, if someone by mistake has created a variable by this name max 12, okay, not 12, let's say uh, 1, and hit the enter. Now, if I try to run this again, do you think it will run? Guess. It will not run because it has overwritten that inbuilt function. And that's why I have mentioned here that these are the inbuilt functions with Python over like preloads for us. But if we try to override them, then it will break our code. If not now, in some future case, it is going to break for sure once that condition is hit. So it's like a very hard core thing that we should understand, that we should never write override this, as it's very dangerous, and avoid doing this. So let's try to now how I can get rid of it. So we have a keyword del. So I have to delete max, and then if I try to run this, it will work. So similarly for Python also, print also you can try. So let's try to run this. So let's try to run this without defining. So it's working, right? Now let's define it and run. It will throw the error. See. So again, what we have to do? Again, we have to delete print. So I hope you are liking it, and I hope you might have learned it for the first time. I hope you are enjoying it as well. Now let's try to understand what this assign operator means, because we understood that we are declaring or like initiating a variable by equal to, and again there is double equal to also. This one, this is different, and this is different. So this is a assignment operator equal to single equal to, and double equal to is a conditional operator which checks like whether two values are same or not. For example, if I try to check true is equal to true, it will give me true. It's checking like whether true and true are same or not. Similarly, if I write false, then it will show an error. Not error, but it will give me false because they are not same, right? But if I write not equal to, then it will give correct error. So it's acting as a like comparing the like two values like that. So let's come back to what we are here. Assignment operator. So what is happening at the background, if you try to read this, it's not like variable assignment does not copy data. So what is happening here is like once we are declaring it a equal to Python, it's not like a is copying this Python value. It's like first the code is starting from this side. So first Python is getting created as a string variable, right? Because this is a text. And then this text is getting allocated. Let me explain it. So yeah, so this is my Python, and first this will be created in the memory. So let's say this is my memory. So here my Python will come and it will be assigned a memory ID. Let's say this one. So this is the ID that will be created. Now this variable a equal to Python, it's not copying this, but this is referring to this ID. And whatever the value this memory is having, it will show this. Right. So this is how this assignment operator works. So we can again discuss more about this in the coming step. So let's try to check this here. So what I have done is like I have created a assignment. So I have assigned Python string into my a variable. Now I will try to print the a variable value as well as its memory location. So memory ID. So let's see what is coming here. So you can see I'm getting a memory ID where it is written in the CPU, and this is my value. So this is how it works. So I can find this Python written in this memory, and this A is attached to this memory via a connection or pointer, you can say. Now this is what allowing dynamic kind of typing in Python. What is meant by dynamic typing? It's like the like don't consider it very big or a very like complex thing. It's simple. So let's try to understand it with examples. So for example, there is a balloon. Okay. Now there is a string attached to it. This is a string and this is balloon. Now consider these balloons as a string, or it can also be an integer, or it can also be list or anything. Now this string is connecting it to the variable. So this is my variable or me. Consider this. So this is variable. Now if I cut this string, this balloon will be released, right? It is not under the control of this variable now. And similarly, we can allocate one balloon to one variable and connect it using a string like this string, which is like equal to here. And let's say here I have assigned Python. So this is the Python balloon, and this is attached to this variable, let's say a. Similarly, we can make it an integer value 10, and we can attach it to a as a string, right? But both the memory location will be different because this is a Python and this is 10. So both are allocated or stored in a different location in the memory. So let's try to see that also using the code. And again, this is especially in Python. In other like statistical type language like C++, Swift, or Java, there we have to define the type data type of that variable initially only, and we can't change it directly throughout the code. So it's like that. But in Python, type does not belong to the variable, but it belong to the data object itself. So that's why I have written like variables are pointer and objects have types, which means like a will be my variable which is like just pointing it, and object like my string Python or my number 10, those are the objects only, and each variable can point to any object, doesn't matter. So same thing we are trying to see here. Consider a pointer named box and try to connect it to an integer object. So here we are trying to use that. So this is my object integer and this is my variable, and we are connecting it using the pointer. Now we see the value as well as the type of the value and the ID. So type will be integer, value will be 42, and ID we will get. So I've just ran it here. So you can see the value and this and this. Let's try to rerun this. Now again, when I will rerun it, most likely it can change if the space is occupied by something else. See what changed. So yeah. But that is not the thing we are trying to understand here. The thing we are trying to understand is like now this integer is getting changed with a string object and then again with a list object. So every time it is assigned to a different object, and that's where the memory location, because all these objects are stored in a different memory location. Although the variable is same, but it is referring to that memory location, not the value. So that's where whenever we are changing the uh, object, data object that is attached to the variable memory is also changing. That's why when I ran it, you can see even though the object is int or string or list, the memory location are also different. So hope you understood this dynamic typing and how it happens in Python. It's not like uh, we are just writing the variable into the values into the variables, but we are writing the values into the CPU, and that is again allocated into a certain memory ID, and that memory ID we are connecting it to the variable. Hope it's clear now. Now coming to the three types of variables behaviors we will see today, and in my next video I will try to cover the other one that is a bit complex, so that's why I've not covered it here. So again, this is a very simple behavior, but it's important to understand and know so that you can use it as and when needed. So for example, the first one is like multiple assignments. So how we can assign multiple variables the same value. So this is what we are trying to do here. It's like we are creating three variables at a time, X, Y, and Z. And we are trying to assign the same value. So again, this will be allocated into CPU, let's say at memory ID 1. So this is all of these, whether this or this or this, will point to the same memory ID, right? So the ID will be same for all of them. So that's why I'm asking, will it be same or not? So you will see it's coming true, and we will check that ID also. Again, when we try to change the now, if we try to change the value of any one of the variable, like for example x, we try to change it to r from couch. So the ID of this will be different and this will be same because we have changed it to a different object or different value altogether, right? And you can also try to understand this multiple assignments simply to a chair. For example, there is a chair want to look into my drawings. So yeah, this is the chair. Now we have three sticky notes, and we have pasted all those three sticky notes to this chair only. So it's like that. And we have given these sticky, we have written like X, Y, and Z on these sticky notes. So all these sticky notes belong to this single chair only. So in similar way, you can understand it. So let's try to see if teach. Yeah, let's try to run and see. So here you can see the memory ID are same for all of these, but when we change the X value, the memory ID got changed. But for the other two, it is still the same. So hope now this concept is solidified and you understood like how this assignment happened, because I don't think 90% of the developer even understand this thing, how this assignment is happening, and they just see okay the values are changing, but what is happening at the background is important to understand. Now the second thing we can try to understand is like simultaneous assignment, which is like how we can assign multiple values to multiple variables at a time. And we'll also look into the third one, which is classic Python trick, variable swapping. So uh, we'll get into that. First, let's focus on the simultaneous assignment. So here, what will happen is like we are assigning three values to three different variables. And yeah, I've taken a very simple use case. Like, let's say I'm in a kitchen and I have to make something out of paneer. So I will order, like, I need paneer and that to 500 gram, and it's needed for this recipe. So yeah, true. So that's way, and I will create a separate a sticky note so that I can give it to the required person to go and purchase it, or like wherever we need to paste so that they can relate to it later on or whenever needed. So that way only, it's like we created three values and we have assigned it to three different variables at the same time. So you can see like when I run, all these variables are assigned all together. So this is again a good technique if you wanted to initialize multiple variables at a time, and that too all of them are unique. So we learned two techniques. One is like how to assign same value to the three different variables, and how to assign different values to all the different variables. And the third thing is like Python also has this classic Python trick, which is variable swapping. So in other programming language, traditional language like C++ or Java, to do this swapping, like if I have to change the value of A to B and B to A, so that is kind of swapping I'm talking about. So we have to use a temporary variable which is used to like hold the value of A till B is put into A, and then return the A value back to B. So there is a like temporary variable involved. So it's like try to explain it. Yeah, let's try to understand from here only. So this is my A. Mm, mm, Pointer. Okay, this is my A equal to 10 and B equal to 20. Now, if I have to interchange the values, for example, B equal to 20, B equal to, sorry, A equal to 20 and B equal to 10, what I have to do is like I will create a temp variable. I will store the value of A here, which is 10. And then I will try to allocate A equal to B equal to 20. And then B is equal to this temp, because A is already consumed. So B equal to 10, this will give me this. So I have to go via this lot. I need to use this. But in Python, we can directly do it. That's what we are trying to do here. So we can directly use A comma B equal to B comma A. And this will do this. Sorry. Yeah. So this will directly allocate B to A and A to B. So this is something that is happening here. So you can see I've created the memory ID linkage of this, which we have already seen. And this is the pointer connecting to that. Now, when we will try to swap it, it's like just directly swap these two. So it becomes V and it becomes A. And this connection is like just like this. So this is what trying to like happen here. So this is just staying as it is. It's not moving anywhere. Only the value while variable we are just changing it here and here. So it's something like happening like magically or very instantaneously inside, and it is like allocating it without the need of a temporary variables. This is what like it's doing. So hope you understood all the concept that we have seen so far. Let's go to the quiz now. Yes. So we can see the first question is, which of the following is an illegal variable name? So username, this is okay because all are underscore or alphanumeric. This is also okay, alphanumeric underscore. The starting letter is underscore, which is allowed. Numerics are not allowed. This is also okay, numerics in the end, and rest are alpha only. So this is not allowed, right? Because 2 is a numeric and it is at the first place. So D option is correct. Let's enter D and hit enter. Yeah, it's correct. Coming to the second question, how does the interpreter handle variable names with different capitalizations such as age and age? So both are different, right? Because Python is case sensitive. So it will treat them completely separate and distinct values, which is my option B. Right. Syntax error won't come automatically and automatically. It won't convert automatically also. So let's go with option B here. Let's see if it's correct. Yeah, this is also correct. Third is like PEP 8 is naming convention style guide that we already seen. Now, which naming convention is recommended for standard variable names in Python? So, what is the naming case standard that we follow here? The snake case that we have already seen, right? So, we try to have this kind of namings, underscore and lowercase, all of them. So, let's try to have this option C, and let's go to the next question, 4. Which statement best describe the concept of dynamic typing? So we already understood the dynamic typing. Let's try to understand which option agrees. You must declare the data type of a variable before. No, we don't declare. That happens in traditional languages like C++. So second option, a variable can be assigned to a value of one type and later reassigned to a value of different type. So this is something that we learned like the variable can be assigned one data type object and then again a different data type object. That's what making it dynamic, right, in Python, and which is a great advantage also for coding in Python. So I think option B will come here. Let's go through the other option also. Variable in Python cannot change the data type, which is false. It can change. The data type of a variable is strictly determined at compile time. No, there is nothing like that. It happens at the runtime only. So compile time is like first we compile all the code which generally happen in C++ or other language. And then during that, if it find any compilation error, it will show that error and you have to rectify it before running the code finally. But in Python, we don't go through that. We just run the code directly. So let's try to see again. We scored all the answers out of 4 of 4. So yeah, that's great. We learned everything. Now let's try to revise what we have learned. So at first we learned what are the different rules that is there. Then we also gone through the keywords that are there, and then Pythonic naming convention, especially those snake rules from the Pepet, and then what are the difference between built-in function and keywords, and then the different operation we have here, assignment operation especially. So yeah, I think these are the important things that I wanted to cover in this topic. Hope you like it. Let me know your thought if you loved it or if there is any improvement needed or should I add more content. So, so far I'm planning to add additional complexity into this, and in my next video I will try to present that. So yeah, with that I think this is all for today. Yeah, thank you and like, subscribe, and share.